WWE 2K Battlegrounds is a new take on the wrestling game formula, and a horrifying representation of your favorite superstars. These games need to strike a balance between the presentation as we see it on television, to keep fans interested. It may not seem like it given the current state of the genre, but wrestling games used to be a really big deal. They were some of the earliest examples of one-on-one fighting games back in the early days of gaming, and moving on into the N64 and PlayStation 1 eras, they provided each of those consoles with some of the best multiplayer experiences to be had. So if you're a big fan of WWE and you're an Android user, so don't worry, we give you top 5 retro WWE games you play on your Android device. Hello guys, welcome back to BWGAMESPOT. So before we start, we tell you those games are used the emulator to play, so we give you all link and information in end of the video. Name a modern console that has never hosted a wrestling game. Not even the 32X got away clean, hosting a pair of wrestling games from the WWF era. These are the days before Stone Cold and The Rock, and so if you're interested in a wrestling game as a snapshot of the entertainment program instead, WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, might not be such a bad pickup for your 32X collection. Based on the arcade game of the same name, the title should have been your first hint. Marquee wrestlers climb into the ring and dish out a variety of chops, slaps, kicks, and slams. The roster includes memorable faces like Yokozuna, Razor Ramon, Bam Bam Bigelow, Doink the Clown, as well as still active wrestlers like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. The cast is digitized, not unlike the original Mortal Kombat Rogues Gallery, but these models are seriously lacking in definition. They are not unrecognizable. I certainly could tell Doink from The Undertaker, but the 32X is certainly capable of much more detail than this. So if you like this game, so download the game link down below. WWF In Your House is a sequel of sorts to WWF WrestleMania, and both take traditional wrestling games and give them a fighting game element, complete with power bars and supernatural special moves. In Your House adds finishing moves, 4-player action, and different backgrounds for each character, backgrounds that replace the plain old wrestling ring, and it's all downhill from there. The roster features Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Owen Hart, the British Bulldog and the Ultimate Warrior, as well as the WWF game debut of Vader, though he had already appeared in 2 previous WCW games I never owned, and the general game debut of Goldust, though he also appeared in 2 WCW games prior to this as Dustin Rhodes, but you know, talk about far-removed gimmicks, Ahmed Johnson, and most significantly, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the future Triple H. Man, what a horrible game to make your debut in. I enjoyed the original WrestleMania. It was a fresh look at wrestling games, and it captured the wacky fun that makes professional wrestling some of the best comedy on television today. In Your House, however, is little more than a rehash of the original. The character graphics look degraded and soulless, as if they were pasted on the background like some kindergarten project involving paste, magazine cutouts, and that yellowish macaroni that often served as a makeshift frame. So if you like this game, download from link down below. Professional wrestling is huge. People who cut the teeth on the rock and wrestling era of the WWF are returning in droves, and the industry is doing better than it ever has before. Games based on wrestling have progressed through the years, and while WWF War Zone plays similarly to its predecessors, it presents a package that is completely unmatched in both gameplay and in atmosphere. The result is a game that easily qualifies as the best wrestling game on the N64. Most of the WWF's biggest stars are represented, including Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, The Rock, Triple H, and Ken Shamrock. Since the beginning of the game's development, Bret Hart, Ahmed Johnson, and the British Bulldog have left the WWF, but they remain in the game. Hidden wrestlers are also in the game, in the form of Mankind's other personalities, Dude Love and Cactus Jack. There is a fairly extensive creator-wrestler option. WWF War Zone is long on gameplay but really lacks on the atmosphere side. While the wrestlers taunt during matches, their personalities never really come across. While it may have 2 modes that the PlayStation version doesn't have, the PlayStation has more style to it and puts on a better show than the N64 version, even with its slightly pixelated, though still great, graphics. Still, if graphics and gameplay modes are all you care about, the N64 version is the way to go. So if you like the game and wanted to play, don't worry, you download the from link down below. WWF Smackdown looks pretty amazing. Things may look a bit blocky at times, and the crowd isn't exactly stellar, but the animation and frame rate, which remains rock solid regardless of how many wrestlers are in the ring, really sell the game. The wrestlers move quickly, but the game still looks realistic. Squint and you might think for a split second that you're actually watching the real thing. The game shows a real attention to detail. Wrestlers get bruised up as they get beaten, and each character has a few different facial expressions. The Rock's special move, the People's Elbow, has finally been rendered perfectly in a game, complete with the removal of his elbow pad. Little touches, like the mat bouncing and the ring apron moving after a powerbomb, really add a lot to the look of the game. The game has nice collision detection, and multiple hit animations make the game constantly impressive. The camera moves around when needed, delivering some nice close-up shots of finishes and other big moves. SmackDown's one rough spot is the sound. The game is awfully quiet for a wrestling game, lacking both actual voice work from the wrestlers and commentary of any kind. The in-game music can get a little repetitive also. The game really would have benefited from some voice, but the sounds of the hits, smacks, and wrestlers hitting the mat are all really nice. And all wrestling game fans, even those who are a little burnt out on other games in the genre, should find something in WWF Smackdown that makes it worth to play. Wrestling has been around for a long time, and the games have been around for quite some time as well. The first WWF Smackdown was easily one of the PlayStation's best wrestling titles, so does it come as any surprise that the long-awaited Smackdown 2 Know Your Role manages to take the title from the reigning champ? In terms of gameplay and graphics, not a whole lot has changed. The wrestlers are still kind of chunky looking, and the control is still simple but sluggish in the traditional wrestling game way, but a ridiculously huge selection of new wrestlers, matches and options are what makes SmackDown 2 shine. The Creator Superstar mode has been completely overhauled and packed with almost too many options, letting you turn virtually any freak of nature your warped little mind can concoct into a WWF champ. The season mode that was the first SmackDown's claim to fame is still present, but it quickly grows tiresome. It's all the matches without much of the entertaining theatrics, and the new Creator Pay-Per-View mode isn't much more than a string of 10 exhibition matches in a row. You'll be better off playing one-shot matches depending on how skillful, lazy, or just plain violent you feel that day, and a wide range of special match types is stellar. The best of the new bunch includes the wickedly fun ladder battles, set up a ladder and grab the belt suspended from mid-air, casket matches, hurl your opponent into a coffin and close the lid, and Anywhere Full mode, which lets you fight in a wide range of backstage areas where expensive leather couches and forklifts become tools of the ass-whooping trade. SmackDown 2 is a solid wrestling title, but it's the huge number of options that kick it into the stratosphere, making it a no-brainer purchase for any PSX wrestling fans. Now it's time to show you how to play those games on your Android devices, so you just need an emulator to play. EPSXE is arguably one of the two best PlayStation emulators out there. This one tends to be a bit easier to use. It's also highly stable. It also supports split-screen mode, save and load states, customizable controls, hardware controller support, and OpenGL enhanced graphics. So first install EPSXE, download link is down below. Second, you need PlayStation 1 BIOS, don't worry, you also download, link is down below. Simply you select the run BIOS, it will find the PlayStation 1 BIOS you downloaded. See, they select automatically, if they not find so you select manually. Simply select Preferences, BIOS Preferences, find your downloaded path, and select the BIOS. Now you run games you downloaded, you see all games are show automatically, you select any game you want to play. For example, I show you WWF Smackdown 2. Now enjoy all your favorite games on your portable Android devices. So how do you like all your WWE games? If you really like, give thumbs up, and if you want more games or any suggestions, tell in a comment section. And oh guys, I'm sorry I forget, if you not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get the latest updates. So stay safe and healthy. Keep playing and keep watching and stay with Black Wolf GameSpot. See ya.